weeks of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards. And they'll run for the first time with Najee Harris. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21. Well, this defense for the Seahawks, they were terrific last week in the win over the Rams.
And how'd you like to be the quarterback reviewing the game tape from last week and seeing this defense on the spot on almost every snap? If the ball was in the air, they took it away. If the ball was pop free, they picked it up. 5 takeaways in last week's game.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Brady now to throw. And this is incomplete.
That was well played, but that was also an example of a corner who understands his coverage, realized he had support behind him, and could be a little more aggressive in the shorter zone, and did exactly that, knocking that pass away.
So trouble already here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 9.
Right there, 54, right there, 54, Mike. We ain't giving up.
Brady going to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And tight coverage there. It's knocked away, incomplete. So the defense able to get off the field here on 3rd down.
And it's one of the goals of the game. They've got to be effective on passing downs. It's one of the few things defenses chart. How did we do on 3rd down? That's a nice start for them in this one.
Returnable for Lockett. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. A nice return that time of about 14 yards. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. Good starting field position here for the Seahawks as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 43. This is the Oklahoma State alum, Chris Carson. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
On 2nd and 7, Wilson. And that is incomplete.
Well, you know, this club, there were some reports earlier in the week, and most have heard this by now, the so-called unnamed sources that were saying all is not rosy in that locker room. There's whispers that 1 or 2 guys, CD, have kind of had enough of how things are going and have been going. How would you handle that as a coach?
Well, you and I both know all the coaches that we've dealt with and come in contact with. They'd love to get their hands on those unnamed sources, wouldn't they? But they know that that's not possible. So I think they've got to go in there and make sure that this isn't a distraction. They also know that once the grumbling starts, it becomes a slippery slope and it's hard to stop the fall. But I think you need to sit some guys down and say, hey, look, we're still hoping to be a playoff team this year. We need you guys to be bought in with what we're doing. Come on, let's get on board.
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive.
Sitting in first place in the division. They've got an open date on the calendar coming up next week. So, Charles, you and I were talking about this before the game. This one for them kind of has some extra importance.
It certainly does, because if they can get the win here and pad their lead a bit or at least keep pace, then they can really kick their feet up and say a job well done at this point and not have to worry about ball at all until they're back in their facility, back in their meeting room, getting ready for the next game.
They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for third down. Shotgun now for Brady. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 45. And he brings it back to right around the 26-yard line. So a first interception thrown for him there, and that really not the best decision either.
Not at all, and that's something he did not do in their victory last week. No interceptions in that game, but this defense, they're able to take advantage of an early mistake. Now let's see if they're going to turn it into points.
And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, when that continuity is there and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front and linebackers, you're exactly right. It could be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those three guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5-on-3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
They go play action with Wilson. Escaping the pressure right. And down he goes. Pressure gets him back at the 14. It's a loss of a yard, so they'll wind up crediting him with a sack, and it brings up third down. And the Steelers now in the nickel here on third down. Wilson. Touchdown, Seahawks. DK Metcalf. His 6th touchdown of the season. And the Seahawks have taken a first-quarter lead. Extra point up and through by Myers. And that makes the score 7-0. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, wound up leading to a touchdown the other way. How do you approach drive number 2?
Going back to your game plan coming in, everyone has matchups that they like better than others, where they think they have an advantage. Dial up some of those plays. Try and go to those spots and get your offense moving.
7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3. Now a play fake. Brady.
And this throw incomplete. The defender all over him that time, and it's going to lead to third down.
So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Now Brady.
This is Chase Claypool on the receiving end.
And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
Defensively here, Charles, I'd have to imagine coming up with a game plan to stop Tom Brady. Many have tried, few have succeeded. But what do you see as their best course of action?
Well, besides stating the obvious, which is having great guys who can cover, and we know how difficult that is in the NFL, I say it's inside pressure. The guy's up the middle in his face because he's not the type of athlete who can get out to the perimeter and hurt you. He likes to step up in the pocket and throw downfield. If you have a couple of good pass rushers right in his face, right in his grill, that's your best chance to slow him down.
And now the throw here is incomplete, and with that, we come to the end of the first quarter of play. Second quarter action from Pittsburgh. It is the Steelers in control of the football as they've got it with a third down coming up. Oh, he's going to let this go for the end zone. And the defense has it covered. It's intercepted. Picked off by Jamal Adams. And the Seahawks are going to get it back here just shy of the 20. Second straight drive now here, Charles, that have ended with an interception.
And I just wonder, because I don't think it's going to rattle him necessarily, but I also wonder if it's going to nerve him a little bit. Does it lead to another one? Or does he find a way to pull it together and become sharp again?
And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line.
I thought he did a nice job there setting an edge and make sure nothing could get to the outside. But he decided that wasn't enough for him. Worked his way back inside and made the tackle on the ball carrier.
He's got a first down past the 30 and past the 40 before he's out of bounds.
Certainly making his presence felt in both the pass and the...
Yeah, it's for the game right there. He had hurt him with his arm. Now he's showing that he can shuffle the puppies as well. They'll throw on first down with Wilson. Flushed out right. He hits his target, Lockett. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. That's a good chunk of yardage. It's going to be canceled out.
And we always talk about hidden yardage in a game. That's going to count as that because now it doesn't go on the books, but now they have to make that up again, don't they?
Flush to his right. He lets it fly for Lockett. Got a man, it's caught at the 6-yard line. And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. It's a big play there for Seattle. They'll try and run for it on first and goal. And he's going to get him about 3 yards closer. He's down to about the 2.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. Carson again. And this is not going to do it as he's stopped at the 2-yard line. No gain on the play there. They're going to need to come up with something better here on third and goal. Third and goal from the 2, and they're going with a jumbo set offensively. From the gun, it's Wilson. End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle. Russell Wilson with 2 first-half touchdown passes. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. Myers connects on the PAT, and it's now 14-0. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. And 2 interceptions thrown here in this first half. You hear it no matter the sport. They say the great athletes, they can kind of have a short-term memory, but that's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done, but I played with a guy who threw 2 interceptions in the first quarter of a really big game we were playing.
Johnny Unitas?
And no, not quite of that level and not of that age. But
I was going for the age.
I remember looking over at him, and he was smiling. And I thought, what is he smiling about? It's because he had enough confidence in himself that that was a fluke. And he went out and played pretty well the rest of the day.
And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
And I like the idea here. Get the ball in his hands, even if it's in the passing game. 3 catches a week ago, and he does a nice job here to pick up yardage.
Brady's throw there hauled in by Claypool. A gain of 6 there on first. 2 minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll get you to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. The coach will have stats and scores from earlier today in the NFL. Brady's throw there complete.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon, and it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time they pick up a first down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. Here's Brady to throw. Caught here by Bell. And he's able to get it to the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line.
Well, they certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the first half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball possibly in the open field. And I think in the second half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Bell. And able to get this down inside the 15 to either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. So the completion good for 6 yards. And that'll make this a 2nd down. From the gun, it's Brady. Wide open, Gronkowski. And in for the Steelers touchdown. Rob Gronkowski, his first touchdown on the year. And the Steelers get a late score here in the final minute of the first half. Extra point by Butker is on target. And that'll cut the lead down to a touchdown. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And with a 14-7 lead, they might just be happy to take this thing on into the tunnel. Steps away to his left. He lets it fly for Lockett. And got his man complete. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. They run it with Carson, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage.
And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Now the Seahawks call the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. Wilson of the Seahawks looking for something big following the sack. It's 3rd and long here. And that'll be accepted, of course, and that moves him back 5. After the delay, they're backed up even further for 3rd and long. Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. Here's Wilson. Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. The safety, Terrell Edmonds, picks it. this was a 14-0 game not too long ago. Things were looking pretty good. And then you give up the touchdown on the last drive. Now the interception.
So that's a lesson in trying to stay vigilant, isn't it? You have to stay on top of things. Can't relax too much because, as you noted, things change. Now they've got to go out there and get a spark going again and try and slow down this comeback.
So we've come upon halftime with the visiting Seahawks. They're out in front. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Coach, thanks. Yeah, both teams likely to make some changes in what's been a closely fought battle to this point.
The Seahawks with the advantage, and they get the football first as the second half is underway.
Let's go.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense.
And they've got the lead. CD, what do you think the message was at halftime?
I don't think the message was too drastic, I think, at the half, or that they need to change things too much. I do think the offensive line could play a little bit better. And I think they'll try and help them out more. They'll probably keep a tight end in a few more times and maybe add a running back to the formation to pick up those pass rushers because they probably allowed a few too many sacks for comfort in the first half.
And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
And they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
Eluding the pressure right. Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. And it's picked up by the Steelers. And they take over. They'll set up shop at the 46-yard line.
So what a turnaround to begin this second half. A touchdown and then the fumble recovery in quick succession.
It certainly feels like whatever was said at the half, it certainly struck the right chord because they've come out with a lot more fire here in this third quarter. Down 2 scores at the half. Now they're right back in this thing with a chance to capitalize right here.
Now a first down carry for Harris. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game. Second and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on third down and pick up the first down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the first down. That's exactly what they did.
So from the 36 now, first and 10. To throw is Brady. This is Bell on the dump off. Touchdown! Way beyond Bell. His second touchdown on the season. And the Steelers are an extra point away from tying this thing up.
Extra point by Butker is on target.
That will tie our game here in the third. So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away.
The Seahawks take over first and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise, it's going to be a long day for you.
And able to get a couple as he's across the 40 to the 41.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
Now a toss left side into the hands of his tight end. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds.
And Gerald Everett makes a good catch there for a first down, and he was signed away from the Seattle Seahawks division rivals, the Rams, after 4 years in L.A. backing up Tyler Higbee. He's excited about his opportunity in the Pacific Northwest. Last year, 41 catches, a career high.
Well, there's Lockett pulling in a tough grab. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40.
And that guy just keeps getting better. And I'm talking about Tyler Lockett, who just made that nice catch there for a first down. Now in his 7th season with Seattle, last year may have been his finest yet. And even 100 catches, many of them of the...
Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Minka Fitzpatrick. And the Steelers force the turnover. They'll take over at their own 27.
You would think that he had baseball in his past, the way he patrols center field and goes and gets the football as he just did there. And all-pro for the Steelers each of the last 2 years. His first 2 years with the franchise, he led them with 4 interceptions in 2020.
And he stopped immediately there. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down.
At the 26-yard line.
Working from the gun, it's Brady. He'll check it down to Bell. And he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35. Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy out in the flat.
Yeah, so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you're either throwing the touchdown or you're throwing the check down. But earlier in the game, it was touchdown or interception. Now he got to the check down, a nice safe throw, and a good one. Throughout his career, Tom Brady has made a living with the quick pass, hasn't he? How about that one? A little slant inside, and I think his arm's gotten stronger throughout his career, too.
Yeah, you can just see one of many examples of why he's made more trips to the Super Bowl than any other quarterback.
Footwork, intelligence, competitiveness, that's Tom Brady in a nutshell.
One quarter remains here on a Sunday night. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Second and 6. No, scratch that. Second and 7. Now Brady. Right side, Claypool's got it. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks' 38-yard line.
And 2020 was a strong draft for receivers, and the Steelers got an excellent one in the second round in Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame. 11 total touchdowns last year. Among rookies, only Jonathan Taylor of the Colts had more. A strong catch there.
3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Second and 7 on the Seahawks 35-yard line.
Brady. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And now off to the races down the right side. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. In a tie game fourth quarter, that's about as big of a defensive play as you can possibly make.
And it didn't happen by accident. That was scouting right there. They've seen things that have happened before. They knew in certain situations the type of plays they like to run, read it, and were able to go after the football, get it, and take it into the end zone for a touchdown for themselves.
The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. And can they regroup? That's the question. The pick six hurt, no doubt, but this is still a one-score game here in the fourth. They'll start the drive with Harris. And he'll wind up with about 6, up past the 30 to the 31.
Now, Brandon, that's the way you want to run the football. There should almost be quote bubbles above the offense right now. Bam, boom, biff. That's how they feel good about moving the football.
Now this is Le'Veon Bell with a reception. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. From the shotgun, it's a give to Bell. And he'll muscle his way up to the 43 for a pickup of right around 5.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
And here's a throw caught by Gronkowski. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45.
I like the design that we're seeing right there. This is what they need. Down by a touchdown here in the 4th. They just need to keep working their way downfield. And when they see openings, take their shots.
And he's going to be stopped at about the 37.
57 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down, that fits the bill.
Again, it's Harris on 2nd down.
And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25.
Oh, that's a very good run there by Najee Harris, who can take it inside. He can get to the perimeter. He can do it all with his build and his speed. This is a guy coming out of Alabama who did everything for the Crimson Tide. That's why Pittsburgh took him in the 1st round. Last in the league in rushing as a team last year were the Steelers. They're expecting Harris to kickstart their running game.
It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And it'll be 2nd and very short. 4th quarter, down to the final 2 minutes. And we've got a 1-score game. So the Steelers with the football as we get you reset. They come up on a 2nd down now in a game that looks like it's going to go down to the wire.
I hope we give enough respect to the big guys up front because they have been getting it done on this drive. The holes have been large, and they've been barreling through them, picking up 1st downs.
1st and 10 at the 12-yard line.
The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun, it's Bell. And he's going to work this one down to about the 5. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Again, it's Bell. Clock's under a minute. Still plenty of time, partner. They have all 3 timeouts.
That means they have plenty of options in their play calling and where they target on the field. They can throw it downfield, maybe even in the middle, and use their timeouts.
A looming decision to make on the conversion, down 7. But first things first, they need to score as they come up on. And yes, he's into the end zone. So they get the late score they needed. And now the extra point can tie this thing up in the final minute.
And while it appears the heavy lifting was accomplished by scoring the touchdown, they're still down 1. That extra point is not a gimme.
All right, now a big 2-point conversion attempt still to come. Now Brady. And it is caught. They got the 2 points, and with it, they've taken the lead. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. And with time a factor here late, he'll just take a knee and they'll put it out to the 25. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. They only need a field goal. Obviously, the clock a huge factor. They'll be watching that. What do they need to do here, Charles?
Your sequence of plays has to get you out of bounds. Completions, get out of...
Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. A big connection on that one. 34 yards. So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. They'll try the left side. Carson, and he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as they get it with 26 seconds to go in the football game. So the first down run lost a couple. Now they come up 2nd and 12. Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Wilson to throw. They'll run the screen with Carson. Carson the first down and more. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. Well, when you're leading in the 4th quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Here's Carson. And this time they were ready for him as he's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Tackle made that time by Brandon Graham. And we are set for a great finish as that timeout comes in with 2 seconds to go in this football game. So now this one will rest on the right foot of Jason Myers. And we will get a timeout with 2 ticks left. So now this one will rest on the right foot of Jason Myers. And it is good. He splits the uprights on the chip shot. And they'll be celebrating in Pioneer Square tonight. The Seahawks have won the game. So the victory here for Seattle. And they were really helped by their defense, forcing 3 turnovers.
I think what we saw in this one, today's defense. And what I mean by that is in the old days, pitching shutouts was big time. That was paramount. But the big thing was holding people down, holding down their yardage, right? Don't let them throw the ball through the air and gain a lot of... But now, it's about taking the ball away. Taking away possessions, getting the ball back for their offense. They had 3 takeaways in this one, and it led them to victory.
So for the Seahawks, their strong start to the year continues as they're up to 5-1. And they'll return home next week to take on the New Orleans Saints. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, the loss will drop them to 4-2 on the year. And now they'll head to the bye week as they'll be back in action in Week 8.